For a long time, many of you have been asking me how you can fill in your tax forms on Distrokid in order to have your payments processed. And in this video, it's what I'm going to be covering. So I signed up for my Distrokid account, I think in 2020, between 2020 and 2022. And that's when I filled in my first tax forms. However, this year, I've been receiving emails that have been telling me that the forms that I submitted are going to expire by the end of this year, I think December 31st, as you can see on the screen actually, and I'm required to resubmit these forms. Now, I thought I might record the process and actually share it with you guys because I feel like it will be of value and many of you will appreciate this. So this is the email I received, as you can see, 17 hours ago, and I'm going to just go through the process and hopefully it benefits you. So let's get to it. So the first thing I'll need to do is actually enter my password, because now we're getting into the tax payment side of things on Distrokid. As you can see, the first thing that it displays is my information. So these are things that you'll need to add your information. You need to add the details. Let me see, please enter your details as you shared them with your bank. So the type is the individual. That's what it shows. The contact email, phone number, first name, middle name, last name, street address, city, country, the zip code, date of birth, and country of birth. Once you fill those in, you go next. And at this point, you're supposed to select what payment method you're going to use. So you can see this kind of flow chart we are following from the first to the fourth. The first is the address, the second is the payment method. My payment method is PayPal. That's my preferred payment method, along with the currency, which is USD. And the email that I'll be using, or that my PayPal is tied to, is this one. So we move on to the next one. I don't need to change any of that. And now here we are at the tax forms. It reads tax form review. Based on the information you submitted, you may be subject to a 30% federal withholding rate. This is because I am not from the US. I'm not a US citizen. I'm not a US permanent resident, and therefore that attracts a 30% federal tax, let me say, because I'm doing business in their country, but I'm a foreigner. So yeah, they're entitled to this. As you can see, the records show that my W8BEN file or document was submitted on 8th of September 2021. Now, as a foreigner, I'm Ugandan, so this is the kind of file I'm supposed to fill. But if you're from the US, the file you need to fill is different. So what we are going to do here is submit a new tax form. Please confirm that you would like to change your tax form. Confirm. Boom. So fortunately, we get to see now the different types of tax forms. Sorry to interrupt the video, but you might find this helpful. If you're a serious artist that doesn't have a lot of time on their hands or the skills to design your artist resume, also known as your electronic press kit or EPK, I might have just the thing for you. A bundle of 20 unique design templates that you can customize within Canva to fit your artist style. The bundle is designed to cater to artists creating within different genres of music, such as hip-hop, R&B, pop, jazz, you name it. I believe this will have you feeling confident in the way you present yourself to people that might take your career to the next level. Here we are talking booking agents, media outlets, venues, and even potential collaborators. With 20 customizable designs, you will not need to think too hard about what your next EPK design looks like for at least the next few years. Make sure to grab yours in the description. Let's get back to the video. This is the one that I signed, the W8BEN, which is for non-US individuals. The W8BENE is for non-US corporations. The W9 is for US individuals / entities. And then there is other. So for me, it would be the first one. And now I'm supposed to complete it. Boom. Okay, so the first page is it reads identification of beneficial owner, part 1, name Ambrose Mugume, country of citizenship Uganda, it reads, if you are a dual citizen, enter the country where you are both a citizen and a resident at this time. Not a resident in If you are not a resident in any country in which you have citizenship, enter the country where you were most recently a resident. And then if you are a US citizen, you should complete the W-9 form. So for some of you that are watching from the US, your US citizens, go and fill in the W-9 form instead of this. Even if you hold a citizenship in another jurisdiction. Permanent residence, so Kenya at the moment. This is the address I'm using, the city, the zip, mailing address is the same, and then we continue. So you can see that this first part was the identification of beneficial owner, part 1. This next part is identification of beneficial owner continued. So we need to continue to have access to the next part, which is this. So to claim treaty benefits, please provide either your US tax ID number or foreign tax ID number. Okay, so this is the US tax ID number. I don't have that. So for the foreign one, I'll need to add my TIN number, which is the tax identification number from my country. So, okay, I can't claim treaty benefits, so I'm not required to provide a tax ID number. If you are required to provide an SSN, okay. One thing I know is I don't really claim treaty benefits. Maybe I could even research right here. So as you can see, I'm from Uganda and we don't have treaty benefits with the US. So I don't need to even add this, right? So I can just continue. You could see I was already adding mine. I certify that the beneficial owner is a resident of the selected country below within the meaning of the income tax treaty between the United States and that country. Okay. Don't see your country listed. As you can see, my country is not listed. So again, that's why I'm being charged that 30% federal withholding tax. So please note that treaty benefits will not apply, and therefore you may be subject to the maximal withholding rate, which is 30% on payments for royalties. And yeah, basically, so I confirm. And then you're told to review what details you've added to your tax form. I review them. Everything is in order. And then this is the final part, if I'm not mistaken. So under penalties of perjury, I declare that I have examined the information on this form and to the best of my knowledge and belief it is true, correct, and complete. I further certify under penalties of perjury that I am the individual that is the beneficial owner of all the income to which this form relates, and I'm using this form to document myself for Chapter 4 purposes. The person named on line 1 of this form is not a US person, true. The income to which this form relates is not effectively connected to the conduct of a trade or business in the United States, effectively connected, but is not subject to tax under an applicable income tax treaty, or the partner's share of a partnership's effectively connected income. Sure. The person named on line 1 of this form is a resident of the treaty country listed on line 9 of the form, if any, within the meaning of the income tax treaty between the United States and that country. Here I didn't add a country because my country does not have a tax treaty with the US. So boom. For broker transactions or barter exchanges, the beneficial owner is an exempt foreign person as defined in the instructions. Furthermore, I authorize this form to be provided to any withholding agent that has control, receipt, or custody of the income of which I am the beneficial owner of any withholding agent. This basically means that I authorize that this form can be provided to Distrokid because it's going to be the withholding agent. So, yeah, or any withholding agent that can disburse or make payments of the income of which I am the beneficial owner. I agree that I'll submit a new form within 30 days if any certification made on this form becomes incorrect. Boom. Maybe one thing I can note here is, for example, this. I've understood the part A not effectively connected with the conduct of a trade or business in the United States. I am not effectively connected with with any business in the United States. It's just the company that manages my music is that side. And then B, effectively connected but is not subject to tax under an applicable income tax treaty. Income to which this form relates is effectively connected but not subject to tax. And then C, the partner's share of a partnership's effectively connected income. So the Internal Revenue Service does not require your consent to any provisions of this document other than the certifications required to establish your status as a non-US person, establish your Chapter 4 status if required, and if applicable, obtain a reduced rate of withholding. By typing your name, Ambrose Mugume, and contact email address, I confirm that I agree to the electronic submission of my completed W8BEN form and that I accept that the information provided constitutes a legally binding digital signature. I am signing for myself, correct? All right, here, I just type in my name, like that. Boom, you can see the date signed is 10th of December 2024, and the contact email is this, Ambrose Mugume, and then we submit the form. And really that's all it takes for you to sign the tax form. I believe for you it will be a bit different because for me I'm resubmitting, but that is basically the gist of you signing a tax form for your Distrokid payouts. As soon as you receive royalties, remember you're not going to be paid until you have your tax form submitted.